Welcome back to Questing Beast, I'm Ben. Today we're taking a look at Ian Livingstone's Casket of Souls. This is the second book in the Puzzle Quest series. And there's only 2 books in that series. I didn't know that this book existed until pretty recently, because I saw that this was part of the Puzzle Quest book. So I looked up, are there any more Puzzle Quest books? And sure enough, there is one. Similar to the Tasks of Tantalon, this is a book where you go through a number of stories and you try and solve a puzzle on each page, and it's accompanied by absolutely gorgeous illustrations. Whereas the first book, Tasks of Tantalon, was created by Steve Jackson, the British one, the co-creator of Games Workshop. This one is by the other co-creator of Games Workshop. So it's cool that they did this pair of books together. It's also very interesting to see the different types of puzzles that each of these authors has created. Whereas Tasks of Tantalon has a big variety of different kinds of puzzles to work through, Casket of Souls is a bit more thematically unified in that every single puzzle is trying to find an image hidden in a picture. But the way that they are hidden varies a lot from image to image. There's a lot of very creative ways that that's been done. And a quick reminder that Tasks of Tantalon is this month's giveaway book. So if you are subscribed to the Questing Beast newsletter, link down below, then you are in the running to get a free copy of this book. I'll send it right out to you if I draw your name at the end of June. Here's the back of our book. Dare you open the Casket of Souls? I am Salazar, spirit guardian of the kingdom of Amaryllia. For 200 years, I was the keeper of an artifact of magical energy so powerful that its creation took the lives of 11 grand wizards. It was a casket that could imprison a demon and was made to defend Amaryllia in its darkest years. And when the demon came, I awoke ready to trap it with the casket, but I gambled and lost. I was obliterated and rematerialized on the plane of shadows, unable to escape. Yet the demon can still be annihilated by the casket. There is a spell hidden that can open it. I will lead you to it. Please help, for there is no other hope left to us. This is a paperback book, unlike Tasks of Tantalon. I think that there was a hardback version of this made, but frankly, I was not able to find it anywhere. This one seems to be much rarer than Tasks of Tantalon. There's very few copies out there, and they're going for very high prices. I had to pay quite a bit to get a hold of this, but hopefully this video will serve as a way for lots of people to enjoy this puzzle book, even if you're not able to get the book yourself. Similar to some other puzzle books we've looked at, this one has a contest included, where if you find the spell that's hidden inside this book and you send it in, there is a chance you can win the Casket of Souls, an actual sculpture worth £200. And anyone who sends in a solution can win this free poster, but unfortunately the contest has already ended quite some years ago. All of the art in this book is done by Ian McCaig, and it is really, really beautiful. We start out with a pretty extensive story giving the background of this magical kingdom and this arch wizard who senses that a demon is coming to destroy it, and he creates this plot to trap the demon. There's a map here of the kingdom of Amaryllia. I think many of these places appear in the subsequent illustrations. And the trouble is that the demon wins and banishes the wizard to the plane of shadows, and he needs your help to put together the solution. And so as you go through each of these pages, the wizard from the plane of shadows is talking to you, guiding you through this scene, which are all a bunch of scenes that have happened in the past or near the present. He's kind of transporting you through time and space, showing you these visions, hoping that you can find all of these clues. It says down here, I will show you now what has happened since that terrible day when the battle was lost. The carnage of the past 30 days, the pockets of resistance that fight on, right up until the climactic events that happened only moments ago. I will show you the 12 royal treasures and explain their origins, but you must find them on your own in the visions of the 30 days past where the spell words were first placed. Put the words in the order of the numbered treasures, and the spell will open the casket and unleash the power of the grand wizards. Do not flinch in the face of evil, for Amaryllia's survival rests with you. Look carefully, for all is not quite as it seems. And for your journey, you will need mirror, scissors, pencil, and paper. That's a very interesting clue. Time is short, and we must go. All right, next we'll take a tour through the book and I'll show you how these puzzles are structured. But first, a quick shout out to today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Into the AM, my favorite apparel company, who currently have an up to 80% off sale going on right now on their website for Father's Day. I've been really enjoying the relaxed button-up shirts like the one I'm wearing right now, but they also have some really great D&D themed shirts like this one right here, Fiery Guardian, as well as some good sci-fi stuff if your campaign is more space themed. These are some of the most comfortable and durable shirts that I own. And if you use my link, which is down in the description below, you get an extra 10% off whatever sale is currently going on their website. A big thanks to Into the AM for being such an awesome sponsor. And now let's get back to the video. So essentially there are 12 puzzles and then there is a big climactic puzzle at the end. On every 2-page spread, you have a big illustration, you have a title for this page, and then we have a description from the wizard, and then we have one of the magic items, the royal treasure number 1, and then number 2 is on the next page, and so forth. These 12 treasures are all hidden in the illustrations, but they're not necessarily in this illustration. Every time you come to a new page, you see that there's a new treasure here, and then you have to search through all of the pictures to see where it is hidden. There's the golden chalice, the helmet of wisdom, which is this strange pyramid shape down there, the horn of calling, the silver arrows, the shimmering shield, the book of magic lore, the crystal key, the banner of titans, the amulet of courage, and finally the white ash bow. Once you have located all of those treasures, the number of the royal treasure will tell you the order of the pages to look in to try and decode the final spell. So for example, if that crown, the very first artifact we looked at, if it was found in this image, then this puzzle would be puzzle number 1. And if the second artifact was found, say over here, this would be puzzle number 2. And once you put all the puzzles in order, there should be a word in each of those puzzles that you string together to create this final spell that you need to banish the demon. Our final page says, "Do not be alarmed. This is my hand that has caught the casket. This is as far as I can reach into the world from the plane of shadows. Take it now and shout the spell to open it. The demon will be here in seconds." All right, it's time for spoilers. I'll go through the book and show you how to find each of these artifacts. Some of the puzzles are quite clever and some are very obscure, so you can judge for yourself whether these are well balanced or not. Our very first treasure, number 1, is the Crown of Kings, and this one can be found at the very final puzzle. And this one right here, Darkness Reflects the Pit. An important thing to keep in mind here is that the title of each of these puzzles is always an important clue to being able to find the item. The phrase reflects the pit is in the title there, and that does tell you that the artifact is in the pit and that reflection is required. Remember that one of the tools that you need to bring is a mirror. Do you see it yet? No? How about now? Look at the cracks in the stone right here and imagine a mirror reflecting these cracks over to the other side. You would see that it would form the shape of the Crown of Kings from the beginning. Our second artifact is the Blade of Braxis. And that one can be found over here on this page, Kissed and Heaven Sent. Again, the title is a clue to where you can find the sword, and it is Heaven Sent. That's a good indication that it's going to be somewhere in the heavens. And indeed it is. If you look at all of these stars and you connect all of the dots, it forms the outline of that sword. Treasure number 3 is the Golden Chalice, and that can be found right on the previous page. Take a look at this illustration. Do you see the chalice anywhere? Is it popping out to you? The clue here says hatred overturned, so maybe something needs to be overturned in order to solve this puzzle. Let's turn it over and then step back and maybe squint a little bit, and you should see the chalice emerge. Treasure number 4 is the Helmet of Wisdom, and it is a very odd helmet. It's very thin, it has a pyramid shape, has little wings sticking out of it. That is found over on this page. The clue is hissed at paper shields. Paper is quite a clue right there because, boy, that does kind of look like paper, doesn't it? In fact, it looks a bit like an origami shape that's been folded up to make this helmet. Now on this page, you won't see anyone wearing any helmets, but you will have to look at their shields. If you look at all of the shields, you'll see pieces of a set of instructions to fold up a piece of paper to make that helmet. I found this one to be quite frustrating as a puzzle. It's a really great idea, hiding the instructions to make one of the artifacts on this page, but because of the way that the shields are drawn, it's really not immediately obvious that those are origami steps. And some of them are drawn in such a way that I wouldn't really be able to follow those instructions anyway. It's often very unclear what exactly you're supposed to do with some of these shapes. I did find some instructions online and I was able to make this helmet. It's not that hard to make, but it would be very, very hard for me to piece that together just by looking at this information. But you can see that I did manage to make the helmet following some online instructions. So that's pretty neat that it does in fact work out. Treasure number 5 is the Horn of Calling. And the Horn of Calling is actually on the previous page right here. This is one of those puzzles that you can search and not see it because you need to actually reconfigure the page in such a way that it becomes visible. The clue is evil spiders mating. If we examine the picture, we find that there are two spiders here, one there and one there. We need to fold the page so that those two spiders meet each other or mate each other. Another clue is that there is half of an evil face over here in the pillar and the other half is over here. So you can see that we would need to match them together. Now, I don't actually want to fold my page over because I'm afraid that might ruin it, but you can see that there is a kind of spiral here that would line up with this end over here. And when you combine them, it makes the shape of the horn, which you can see over here. Treasure number 6 is the silver arrows, and these are hidden quite well on this illustration. Now, this is one of the few ones where the title didn't seem to give you a very good clue for it, twist in flight. They're not actually anywhere up in the flying area with these dragons. Instead, they are very subtly hidden down here on the maze. If you look very carefully, you can see that the top edges of many of these lines on the maze are in fact those arrows. There's also 2 of them hidden on each side of this pointy tower there and there. Treasure number 7 is the shimmering shield. This one was a bit frustrating because I thought it was right here. It's the exact same shape, it's the exact same symbols. This seems to be rotated slightly, so I assumed if you rotated it so it was straight on towards you, it would be a circle, and there it is. But apparently that's not the actual location for it, so that's a bit confusing. The real location is found over here. The clue is casket mirrors face, so you need to use this face, and you're going to need to use not 1, but 2 mirrors. If you place 2 mirrors on it, one here, and then looked at it from this angle, then this shape would appear. Again, this is a situation where I don't know how many people have 2 little hand mirrors that they can set up to get that reflection. Treasure number 8 is the Book of Magic Lore, and this one is hidden on the previous page, where the clue is blast the door aside. Now, at first it might appear that there is no book here, but you need to turn the door aside in order to be able to see it. Let's see if we can get a good view here. There we go. And from this viewpoint, as you look down the side of that bar, you can see that it is actually the book. You can see that the wood grain actually forms into the runes that were on the cover of it. Treasure number 9 is the crystal key, and that one is found on this page over here. There isn't a lot of tricks to this one. You just have to look very closely at all of the image until you find that key. And the clue is once again up here. It's somewhere on the throne. Its actual location is up here in this jewel. If you look at the facets of the jewel down at the bottom, you can see that it is in the shape of that strange curved key. Number 10, the Banner of Titans, is probably the easiest one to find. It's the one that I immediately got because it is found right at the start, and you can see that the banner is right here. It's very straightforward. Demon across the table, the banner is right across the table. World treasure number 11 is the Amulet of Courage, this spider-shaped amulet, and that one can be found on this page into the insect maze. Once you see that clue, you're going to be looking for an insect maze, and it is right here on the breastplate of this character. You can see that if you look at the outline of the maze, there is this spider shape or this insect shape in the exact same shape as the amulet over here. It has 8 legs, kind of a round body, a little bulbous head, and all of that lines up with the shape of the bug right there. It is a bit frustrating to me that there are red herrings in this book. For example, this shape is the exact same shape found over here. It's even on the door, which matches blast the door aside. So when you see this clue, how do you know that the correct answer is this book and not the amulet right there? I feel like that's not great puzzle design. I feel like a good puzzle is once you have found the answer, it should be really obvious that you have found the answer. It shouldn't be, oh, is that the right thing? I'm not sure. It's pretty close. And there is a few things like that in this book. The final royal treasure to find is the white ash bow, and that's going to be on the last puzzle we haven't looked at, which is Mist of Mirrored Wood. Again, there's a mirror keyword, so we're going to have to reflect something. We're going to have to reflect some wood specifically, and that's going to be this piece of wood right down here. You can imagine with a mirror down here, it would get reflected further down, and then you would have a complete bow shape. Once again, though, this feels like a little bit of a stretch. Sure, it would make a bow shape, but the shape is not exactly the same as the bow that we find right here. It's pretty close. We don't see any string, for example. And so you have to think, oh, I guess that's close enough. And I don't think that's a great way to do it. There's one final puzzle, of course, the final spell that you have to put together to seal away the demon. And I'm happy to say that the final puzzle in this book is very solvable. It is not like in Task of Tantalon, where it is possibly unsolvable depending on the edition of the book that you get. To find that final spell, you're going to put all of these puzzles in the order of the royal treasure that is found on the page. So this was the royal treasure number 1. So this will be page number 1. And what you're going to do is look at the very first word of the title. So the first word of the spell is darkness. The second royal artifact was the sword, and that was found on this page. So the second word of the spell is kissed. So far we have darkness kissed. I will leave it to you to try and put together the rest of the spell. So that is Ian Livingstone's Casket of Souls, the second and final book in the Puzzle Quest series. Comparing against Tantalon, it's interesting. I think I like the art in this book a lot better, actually. Ian McCaig did an absolutely fantastic job. As far as the puzzles go, well, I like how in Tantalon there is a greater variety of types of puzzles. Every time you go to a new one, you have to tackle it in a brand new way. This one is all about visuals. It's all about finding an image inside a picture, which makes it very consistent at least. You know what you have to do on every puzzle, but some of them do seem a bit unfair and seem a little bit fudged. The kind of puzzle where you have to look up the answer and then you say, oh, I guess that makes sense, but I probably wouldn't have gotten that myself. This is especially the case when you need to use multiple mirrors to try and find some of the solutions. But some of them, on the other hand, are really fun. Like I love the one where you have to turn the whole page sideways and look down along the wooden bar to see the book. That's really clever. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed this tour through Casket of Souls. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more videos looking through interesting RPGs and puzzle books that I find. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.